be all sus, yeah. I just doubled up on crypto. I just doubled down on the new vest. Now my check looking like 2 checks. Type of money made me want a 2-step. Who next? This week I be on the moon next. Stock going up like 2x. That's a fast flip like suplex. Two really stepping like a duplex. You bet never lose change, but I do flex on it.
Bitcoin on the daily chart is having a beautiful rally off of the S1 pivot. It got support on the 21 above the primary and back inside the bear flag. Now this is all on low volume, so it is a little bit scary. It's like climbing a skyscraper with no shoes.
There is not enough space for my feet.
Yes, a sweaty palms moment for Bitcoin. Now, anything below 21,500 is just another lower high. I am bearish as long as we are below there. Okay, I'm still waiting for a capitulation bottom. If we can consolidate above here, above the 200 exponential moving average, above 21,500, I might start changing my mind. Now, everybody is waiting for the CPI data that's coming out tomorrow, January 12th, 2023. The market has priced in a CPI of 6.5%. Now that is down 0.6% year over year from the previous month. If the CPI comes back cooler than 6.5%, I expect this rally to extend gains into February 1st. More on that later when we discuss macros, but remember, if the S&P 500 is below this historic bear market trend line, I am bearish the S&P and I am bearish crypto. After Mark Zuckerberg rugged the Winklevoss twins over Facebook, they made the cypherpunk dream a reality by starting an exchange called Gemini. In fact, they were one of the first Bitcoin billionaires. During the last bull market, they were riding high and living it up. As rock stars, they started a band called Mars Junction. And during this billionaire karaoke world tour, unbeknownst to the Winklevi, they were getting rugged once again, but this time it was by Barry Silbert. Now that is $2 billion rugs in 2 decades. That is pretty impressive.
You're joking. Not another one? Oh, for God's sake, I can't stand this.
Barry Silbert is a owner and founder of DCG, the digital currency group, and it is a parent company to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which owns over 650,000 Bitcoin. That is about $11 billion in today's prices. They also are a parent company to Gemini. Cameron Winklevoss recently took to Twitter to claim that Genesis Global Capital and their parent company DCG had defrauded 340,000 earned users through false statements and misrepresentation of books. He claims that Barry Silbert wrote Three Arrows Capital a $3.7 billion loan. 3AC would then go and buy the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and Barry Silbert and DCG would pocket all the transaction fees. When Three Arrows Capital blew up, they tried to hide the $1 billion hole in their balance sheet by writing themselves a 10-year promissory note, basically an IOU. Now they are under investigation for this by US authorities. Genesis appears to be insolvent, and so does Digital Currency Group. What does that mean for the $11 billion in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust? Is it going to be dumped on the open market? Well, I don't think so. I think DCG is going to file bankruptcy and do a restructuring without dumping. At least they're going to try. As far as Barry Silbert goes, I think his days are numbered. I guess the question is, will Barry Silbert outlast this head of lettuce? This is a great example of why you should hold your own keys. It's nice to stick around in the bear market. Watching the implosion, it really gives you a good idea of how everything works behind the scenes. They're all lending each other money. They're all pumping each other's stuff with no collateral, with JPEGs as collateral at best, and at worst, downright fraud.
Oopsie doopsie.
They might just be blowing your deposits on first-class flights and $60,000 a night presidential suites at the Grand Hyatt. They blew $40 million in 9 months. $7 million of that was just food and entertainment. This is straight out of Wolf of Wall Street.
$26,000 worth of sides?
Bro, what happened to driving Camrys and effective altruism? These guys are vegan. How do you spend $7 million on salad?
Sorry.
I mean, we could cut him some slack. Even Cardi B, a multi-million-dollar pop star, is complaining about the price of lettuce, saying that it has tripled up.
Like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like $7. Of course, I'm gonna say something.
I think the Cardi B thing is definitely a signal that inflation has peaked for right now. I mean, you could just take a look at the chart for eggs. I feel like I should be dollar cost averaging into this stuff. Just taking a look at chickens, since the price of eggs went up, you can tell this has to be peak euphoria for the CPI. The Federal Reserve's policy basically dictates where the markets go globally. The markets are pricing in a forecast of a 6.5%. Now that is down 0.6% from the previous CPI report of 7.1. If this CPI data is 6.5% or better than expected, we could see this rally, this party on Wall Street extend gains all the way up until the February 1st FOMC meeting, where I believe Jerome Powell is going to continue to raise interest rates to a terminal rate of 5% to 5.5%, depending on how hot the CPI is. Now, he has been very hawkish lately, saying they will not reduce rates in 2023, saying that the Federal Reserve is not going to subsidize climate change or social issues, claiming that the Federal Reserve does not care about politics at the moment, only the CPI. And hey, most consumers do as well.
Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
A pausing in the rate hikes or a reversal on them could definitely help stimulate investment into cryptocurrency and other assets. Right now, consumers are absolutely crushed. You could see this green line right here. That is consumer savings. It is crashing. Meanwhile, consumer credit card debt is at 930 billion. This is painful when the average credit card interest rates have just reached 19.07%. If you couple this with high consumer prices and mass tech job layoffs, you gotta ask yourself, is crypto still a little bit too expensive? I mean, things are looking better, but this crushing economic data could still put an end to this rally. I am still in the camp that more pain is yet to come before we eventually bottom this year in 2023. Is the US going to go the way of FTX? You could see the US government interest rate bill is surged up to $1.2 trillion. To put that into perspective, the United States is paying more in interest on its national debt than they spend on their $880 billion military budget on one of the biggest militaries in the world. As of right now, the United States national debt is $31.5 trillion. So what's going to happen when the Federal Reserve over tightens? Let's say they get to their target rate of 5.4%. I've even heard 6% being thrown out there. Well, we could see an implosion in the credit markets and the debt markets, forcing the Federal Reserve to reverse rates. This could cause a nice little bottom and a climb out into the election year of 2024. I just don't have a lot of confidence in a soft landing with the people we have in charge, especially when we have Janet Yellen staying on as Treasury Secretary for comic relief. As you know, she's the Jim Cramer of Treasury Secretaries.
I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle.
I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take.
Introducing the Road Bed 420. Now you can go anywhere without leaving your bed.
What?
Before I get really bullish in these markets, I really want to see some resolution to some of this crypto exchange drama. We have holes in balance sheets, we have bankruptcies, they're over leveraged, they're illiquid. Now, FTX advisors say that they were able to locate $5 billion in cash and liquid crypto. Of course, if you're a depositor, you probably won't see them because you are an unsecured creditor. A lot of this $5 billion is illiquid shitcoins, which they have been dumping. In 2021, SBF paid $120,000 for a token called CumRocket, and Diamond handed it down to 2.5K. That's a negative 97% return. You could say that they took the losses of the cummies straight to the face.
How could you do this to me? Question mark.
DCG, Genesis, Gemini, FTX, they're not the only ones in trouble. Coinbase has laid off 35% of its staff just in the last 6 months. They're also announcing canceling a bunch of projects that they are working on. This shows the decreasing demand of cryptocurrency and exchange volumes. This caused Coinbase to rally 34% off of its lows, which goes to show you Wall Street is expecting a further unwind in cryptocurrency. Justin Sun's exchange Huobi is having trouble processing transactions. They're even using a bridge instead of Silvergate, which is attached to DCG. They are losing market share. They are under federal investigation. In 2022, Huobi's market share was 22%. Right now, it is about 4%. Binance is also under investigations, but they're looking like a clear winner in 2023. They are adding 2,500 jobs after a tough bear market where $1.4 trillion was wiped out in the crypto space in 2022. I would really like to see some resolution in some of this exchange drama before I start aping in, because I think we are skating on thin ice. Hex on the daily chart had a gorgeous 54% rally off of its lows at about 1.6 cents on the hype of Pulse Chain version 3 being announced at HexCon 2023. Kvid, KDP, and other Twitter personalities were shilling this, were hyping it like it was a fact. Well, unfortunately, Richard totally bombed, and we had this candle. This is the Richard Hart candle right here. This is when he was speaking, and it's a shame because we were building an ascending triangle, which is a very bullish continuation pattern to the upside. Now we have lost the 21 exponential moving average. It was Richard's speech. He was woefully unprepared. He really was disinterested, and it shows in the chart. It definitely deflated the Hex bubble.
So, Maddie, you're still doing sudden wealth syndrome streams? No. It's just sudden wreck syndrome.
Sudden wreck syndrome is right. We are probably going to take out the S1 pivot. I believe we're going to take out the lows and head on down to about 1.2 cents. I just don't see anything but FUD on the horizon right now. Maybe just maybe the new Pulse Chain developer that's doxed can put out constant development updates for Pulse Chain, but I really don't think they're going to launch anything until the Shanghai update, which will allow Ethereum 2.0 stakers to withdraw. That will be sometimes in February or in March. Hexicans can survive this. It's a strong community. I mean, just look at these postcards that Hexicans sent to the people who got doxed in the Celsius collapse. I mean, imagine you lose your life savings, you lose everything, and you get a Hex postcard in the mail from a dox. Ooh, man, that is one epic troll. That is funny indeed. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I got plenty more coming. If you like this kind of content, help support the channel by hitting the like button and the sub button. Join the wolf pack, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.